got some breathing room. Further back with Askew chasing Hunter Ray, and this could get dramatic in this final corner to the front straight.
Race Control is looking at the Jack Harvey Pato Award moment. Inside there for Oliver Askew, and he hip checks the champ, Indy 500 winner.
He's going to get Harvey as well. Harvey is still hanging on, so nice move by Askew to hip check Graham Rahal out of the way, and Askew's going to get another position, it looks like.
All of these guys just tiptoeing on this opening lap, trying to get temperature, trying to clean up the tires. Sato's been in the mix of a lot of action all day long.
Be smart.
How about Marco Andretti there? Look at this. Dives to the inside. Harvey's going to take two. Marco Andretti, two in the one move. That was awesome.
3 wide down the back straightaway.
Andretti has made up 15 placings from the start. The 98 is flying. Good work.
And that's a problem for Sebastian Bourdais. Bourdais needs to beat Marco Andretti. Now Bourdais, who was running 5th at one point, is down in 14th, and Marco is up to 8th and going to make another position here.
And the reason that Andretti-Bourdais battle is so important is for the 22nd spot in the points. Here in the last race of the season, that's worth roughly $1 million to that team for next year, whoever can secure that final spot.
Marco is a master in tricky conditions. He's always one of the guys to go to slicks when it's wet out and make that first move. So Kevin, he's really making moves here. There he goes.
Whoa!
Big lock up on the front straightaway, but he gets the position.
He makes it work. Marco Andretti going after the money.
And this looks like his best drive in what's been a miserable season. And credit Brian Herta. Marco Andretti was very upset early, and this just is not working. And Brian said, the strategist, who, by the way, has strategized his way to an Indianapolis 500 win a couple of different times, he said, this is going to work. We've still got a chance. So credit Brian Herta for giving him a chance, and Marco for taking advantage of it.
And that's got him at the moment back in the winner's circle, back in that top 22. Race Control says Jack Harvey has to give back 2 spots.
Oh, you bet, right there. That's in reaction to the move from Askew.
Slick move there by Scott Dixon when he gets pushed out right here, like squeezed up against the wall, then has to go side by side.
For years, we've talked about Dixon's critical decision making in critical situations. It always seems like he makes the right call at the right time. That was another example of Scott Dixon understanding the significance of the moment and protecting his car, Marty, in this championship battle.
Absolutely terrific by Scott Dixon, showing why he's a multi-time champion, trying to win his 6th today. Hey, Ryan Hunter-Reay sitting back there in 10th. He wasn't happy with some contact either. He said, if that wasn't avoidable contact on the restart, I don't know what the definition is. He asked IndyCar to review it. Obviously, Harvey needed to give up a spot. He's still 1 spot, though, in front of Ryan Hunter-Reay right now.
Into the second half of this Firestone Grand Prix. 45 laps to go to put a period on this 2020 NTT IndyCar season. Is the man we ride with headed for a 6th championship? I think there's going to be a lot unfold over these closing 45 laps. This is more than a college football game. It's #1 Clemson and #4 Notre Dame. Saturday, November 7th. It's in prime time right here on NBC. Looking forward to that. And looking forward to these closing 42 laps. Welcome back, folks. Firestone Grand Prix of St. Petersburg, the championship finale, the closing race on the 2020 season. Lee Diffie, Townsend Bell, Paul Tracy, who won the first ever race here in 2003, along with Marty Snyder and Kevin Lee, having a great day here in St. Pete. So too is Alexander Rossi. Rossi had led 22 laps the entire season before today. Rossi has dominated, leading 54 laps so far. On championship day, the fight, the showdown between Scott Dixon and Joseph Newgarden. At the moment, it's power to Dixon.
And he's got a buffer between himself and 2nd place. But here is James Hinchcliffe, our co-worker here at NBC. Great guy in the booth, looking at a podium, filling in right now, or replacing Zach Veach in the Gainsbridge car, and having a great run.
So Andretti runs 1, 2, 3 as a team, and we already documented Marco Andretti's amazing charge from 16th to 7th on the restart, putting himself in critical contention for the final leader circle position and that $1 million bonus for next season. Something happened about 5 races ago that turned the fortunes of this Andretti team, because Alexander Rossi's had 4 podiums in a row. Now he leads here at St. Pete.
Just really how he wanted to start the year this way, and it's finishing off. So this is a good way to finish off the year. He desperately wanted to go for a championship this year, and in the first 5 races, they just were not competitive, the whole team, and lost so much ground to Dixon. But now they're making back up for it, Marty.
And talking to Alexander this weekend, he said we had some tough conversations that people didn't want to hear, but what we needed to have. And they didn't really change any personnel, but they changed approaches to races. You see that in the last 4 races with podiums in all 4 races, and they know they have a shot, obviously, to win this race. In fact, Rob Edwards, one of his strategists said, hey, a moment ago, do we need to make any changes? He said, no way, leave it just like it is. Alexander Rossi in position, maybe the best position of the year to win a race here at St. Pete. The season finale for the IndyCar Series in 2020 right now in terms of the championship. Newgarden 4th, Dixon 6th.
Lost Speedways is a new Peacock original documentary series with host Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Matthew Dillner. They uncover great racing cathedrals of the past. This is a really cool show. Lost Speedways is now available exclusively on Peacock, the new streaming service from NBC Universal. You can sign up at peacocktv.com and stream Lost Speedways and so many other shows. Colton Herta's race has changed dramatically and very abruptly. This is the current onboard view with thanks to AutoNation, but he should not be looking at the back of Joseph Newgarden's Team Penske Chevy.
Yeah,
this is why it happened. This is how it happened.
Looks like he locked it up and just decided, I'm going down the runoff. I'm not going to make the corner. And Rossi will like that because now he's got a 7-second lead over his teammate James Hinchcliffe.
Herta comes out right behind Hinchcliffe and Newgarden, which puts him P4, but that allows Newgarden to get ever closer to the front and the win, Marty, that Newgarden really needs at this point.
Yeah, getting interesting. Joseph Newgarden up to 3rd. And remember, on that first set of stops, they gained 4 positions. Now he's 9 seconds behind Rossi, but this could certainly play into his favor. Colton Herta just simply lost it. And before that, he had been faster than his teammate Alexander Rossi. They relayed that to the 27, and immediately Rossi picked up lap time. So you know, Townsend, sometimes when you're trying to pick up that last little 5% to maybe catch a leader, that's when you lose it. Meanwhile, Joseph Newgarden talking about the next stop coming up very quickly. Here's what they said on the radio.
Your opinion between sticker blacks and scuffed reds, you got one? Sticker black. What's it looking like?
Sticker blacks.
And that was the conversation. Yeah, Townsend, sticker blacks. That was the conversation. Originally, the plan earlier today was to go with those scuffed red tires, and they have decided to go sticker blacks here for Joseph Newgarden. And once again, Tim Cindric making the call very, very late to bring Joseph Newgarden to pit road. It worked last time for them to leapfrog some folks. You see those primary tires going on. Newgarden's been very happy with the car. No changes to the front wing. You see that? We'll see if Newgarden here can gain some spots. Tim Cindric said go so hard on these outlets.
They've got to be gambling on a yellow because that's a long way to go on a tank of fuel around here.
They can do it. They can go 34 laps, but this puts Rossi and Scott Dixon in the danger zone right now. If there was a crash, say, with these 2 cars battling right here, they would be exposed. I gotta think we'll see Dixon coming to pit lane this lap to protect.
For sure. I gotta think Rossi's going to make the next move, and I believe he does. Is coming in the pits this lap because you cannot allow yourself to have it go yellow.
Dixon's
and here he is. Look, here comes Rossi.
Both Rossi and Dixon.
Both covering the move by Tim Cindric. Both guys are pitting. Compare pit stops here. Nice big lead for Rossi, so they don't need anything fancy. Dixon would like a nice fast pit stop, maybe have an opportunity to get by Joseph Newgarden as they both leave.
This blend here is so challenging at St. Petersburg. Let's see where they cycle back out.
Newgarden and Dixon, there goes Newgarden in the black and white Hitachi. There goes Dixon, firing right out at speed.
Got to be so careful on cold tires when you come out at speed there. You're going way faster than you would be normally through that corner, and you're on cold tires.
And has a clear view of his championship rival, Joseph Newgarden. That's Rinus VeeKay behind, the newly crowned Rookie of the Year, and recently signed re-signed with Ed Carpenter Racing, so he has his sophomore season next year with ECR.
So James Hinchcliffe now is the leader, followed by Herta, who's now closed the gap to Hinchcliffe. He spun and then now has closed it back down to 1 second. So Herta now is really charging to try to get back towards the lead. But they have a 7-second deficit before that pit stop by Rossi.
And Rossi's stuck in a little bit of traffic right now. He has cleared Marcus Ericsson. There's Rossi, there's Ericsson. Up ahead, Rossi still has Askew and his teammate Ryan Hunter-Reay. So how much time did Rossi lose in traffic on that exchange?
He's hustling too. He's had it step out there. He's got to hustle. You can't afford to sit around behind guys. You'll lose too much time, and give the opportunity for Hinchcliffe and Herta to jump ahead of them as they stay out on hot tires. So he's saying, keep pushing, Hinch is coming in.
So Hinch pits, Colton Herta stays out. So this is going to be an Andretti battle on green flag out and in laps for that probably second position, Kevin.
So a month ago, James Hinchcliffe thought his part-time season was over. Now he's got a chance to win a race, certainly to finish on the podium. Will staying out longer help them all close that gap to Alexander Rossi? Primary Firestones for the last stint for James Hinchcliffe.
That very memorable victory in the GoDaddy colored car and livery car. There goes Alexander Rossi, so easily ahead of James Hinchcliffe. Look to the right, there's Hinch.
Perfect.
He gets launched in the Gamebridge Honda.
I say perfect because he's got clean air in front of him. No traffic to mess with the outlap. That's exactly what he needed to try to close the gap on Alexander Rossi.
Herta will be the next car to come in. We'll see if he rips off a really quick in-lap and can do the overcut on James Hinchcliffe. James has got to have a good outlap, and as we look here, he's going to, here he comes. Whoa, gets it sideways coming off the corner.
Maximizing every ounce of speed. That's going to make the difference. No changes, he calls.
No changes, wide open pit lane down here. Let's hit the marks.
And you see the big decal on the side there on the engine cover, HPD. That represents Honda Performance Development. Honda is looking good to win the manufacturer's battle here today. Of course, Honda and Chevrolet.
Originally, Colton Herta was supposed to pit the lap before with his teammate James Hinchcliffe. They waited one more lap. We'll see where he lands here. An outstanding stop for the 88 team. Primary tires. We'll see where Colton blends out with everybody else, but a terrific stop by his team.
He got him. There's Hinchcliffe right behind him. A fairway.
Rossi.
Alexander Rossi crashes in the fast chicane.
That is such a dangerous spot right there. The guy who has led 61 laps today has just thrown it away.
He got out into the marbles. You highlight the black section. We see his dad on one of the ISO monitors. He can't believe it. There's his dad, Peter Rossi. He had his hands on his head. It looked like he got into the marbles, Townsend, and he lost the rear and spun it towards the inside and hit the inside wall.
Strange time to have that accident because he was already out for a couple of laps since the pit stop. So you have to think he had tire pressure, tire temperature. And like Will Power, Alexander Rossi can't believe a win has just disappeared.
Look at that. In the marbles, loses the rear, and it goes for the inside. Bang! Into the nose and the wall and the rear, and it's game over, day done.
And here comes Herta arriving on the scene to say, I can't believe what I'm seeing.
There's nothing worse than that to go into an off season. So he's in a little bit of traffic here and just gets those marbles, and it's over.
We did not expect that, and Peter Rossi's disbelief as well. A guy who has never missed one of his son's races anywhere in the world has seen a lot, but he didn't expect to see that today.
And just look at, I mean, it's like a Oreo cookie pie over here with the number of marbles. This restart is going to be crazy. And once again, it puts Scott Dixon in the danger zone championship-wise. Paul, that is, those are actual rubber marbles.
Yeah.
You fall over just walking on those things.
Yeah, it's like, literally, it's like driving on marbles. When you get out in those, you have zero grip. You have zero adhesion to the road. And Rossi right there, you can see arms crossed. He just can't believe it.
He's in shock.
He can see the skid marks, Kevin. He's looking back at it.
And those that have not stopped yet, their race is ruined. And Graham Rahal, the current leader, they had tires out. They were already planning to pit, so they missed it by whatever, 15 or 20 seconds. And they had done a really good job on strategy. Stayed out longest for the first stop, moved from 17th to 8th. I think they were positioned to maybe be able to challenge for a top 5 or so, and now he's going to go all the way back to the end of the line, along with Ryan Hunter-Reay, Oliver Askew, and a few others. But James Hinchcliffe is going to take over as the Herta's in front of him. Herta got in front of him, so Herta and Hinchcliffe still going at it.
It'll be Herta, Hinchcliffe, Palou pitted on 51, so he's going to have to stop. That'll put Newgarden back up into 3rd with a chance to make a move on the restart for the win and a chance for Scott Dixon to have trouble.
So even though this guy overshot the turn and had to flick spin and come back around and rejoin, by staying out, doing that overcut, as Paul said, worked out with his teammate crashing out of the race. This 20-year-old whiz in just his 2nd full year of IndyCar could potentially win again. And everywhere he has won, it's been a different circuit each time for Colton Herta as he continues to just rack up amazing early career numbers. He was beaten to the Indy Lights title by another guy in this race who was his teammate at the time. That's Pato O'Ward. But since coming to IndyCars, boy, it's swung back his way as far as pole positions and race wins.
It's got to be so stressful for the 9 team, Paul. Every time these yellows come out, it is so treacherous on the restarts. It just ramps up the chance for something to go wrong. Scott Dixon has navigated that like the 5-time champion he is, and stayed out of trouble. But this is just, he must be rolling his eyes inside that helmet thinking, not another restart.
It'll be interesting to see if IndyCar takes the opportunity to take a sweeper. I see the jet drying truck out there now, so they're going to attempt to blow some of this rubber off the track and get it away from the line. But you know, it's treacherous, these street races. The marbles are soft tires, as we see all these guys that missed that window, Kevin, coming in for a stop.
So we see Ryan Hunter-Reay, Oliver Askew needing to pit. He's going to Scuffed Reds, and Graham Rahal has his chance at a good day go away. And as mentioned earlier, he's on baby watch. Kathy Lauterbach has the cell phone, but he's staying no matter what going on. She's the PR representative. You see Ryan Hunter-Reay also. Good final stop for Graham Rahal. We'll get back home on a charter tonight to be with his wife Courtney as quick as we can. And Rahal and Hunter-Reay are going to race off pit road, and Hunter-Reay wins that one.
Graham said, I know that this week my life is going to change forever. Yes, it will. And we wish you and Courtney all the best on the birth of your first child. Quick break, 28 laps to go. This is going to be fun to the end. White car on the right-hand side of your screen is Andretti Harding Steinbrenner Autosport driver. Yes, that's the Steinbrenner. That's George IV. As far as, yes, if you're thinking, yeah, we were talking Major League Baseball before. Yes, that is Yankee Steinbrenner, George IV. And his good friend Colton Herta, his driver, ready to go. Let's go. Here in St. Pete, Herta, and then Hinchcliffe. Popping out and having a look is Alex Palou. Palou is off sequence. Big lockup from Hinch.
Hinch had a really good restart. Squares him off.
Boy.
I think he's going to get him here. No, he backs it off. These guys are tiptoeing on cold tires with the marbles. It looks like they've blown off that section. See, a lot of the marbles are gone now, but a lot of action on cold tires. Look at Newgarden trying to get around Palou.
Big move here. Graham Rahal on the inside. No, Takuma Sato.
Sato makes contact and gives Marco a flat tire. He hit his rear tire and flattened it immediately, and that has implications for the leader's circle money.
That is huge implications. Marco Andretti had been up to 7th and on track to secure that $1 million bonus, and now finds himself in the tires.
Yeah, Sato came flying down the inside, locked up, barely made contact, it looked like, with Marco's inside tire. It cut that tire, I think, and then he got to the next corner, and it immediately went around on him.
Looks like they'll be able to refire. If they can get him out of that banner and he doesn't have any damage, he has to stay on the lead lap. They've got about 40 seconds to get him going. He knows this is critical.
Big thanks to the AMR safety team for the brilliant job they've done again.
Oh, damage for Hinch, looks like.
Yeah.
How did that happen?
He made contact at the start.
You got front
He
wing.
made contact at the back of Colton Herta's car
I
in
don't
the
know,
brake
Paul.
zone.
Was that on the brake zone? I don't
Yes.
think they touched that
Just
hard.
take it easy. That thing's hanging underneath the front wings, hanging underneath the front.
Yeah,
Just
it's gonna-
creep it back in here.
It'll get under that tire and then go under the bottom of the car, and you won't have any steering. So you got to be careful that doesn't go completely underneath. But let's have a
They're just
look
asking
what
you to
happened
stay
with all of
offline for
this.
debris. Stay offline.
Watch Sato here. Down the inside, gets one car. Marco doesn't know he's there, touches him,
Cuts his right rear
gets
tire.
it's immediately flat, and he loses it. Boom.
Marco had no chance. No chance.
Tire's down. It's off the rim already. So
Those front wing end plates do a pretty nasty job of cutting the tires. This is James Hinchcliffe.
His wing's fine at this point, Paul.
oh. Just I
Did
don't
he
know
have
what
a-
happened
did
there.
he
just-
No, he's going to drive.
Oh.
He drove right into the side. Was that Jack Harvey?
Yeah, he's just spun it on his own in the marbles on cold tires. And
Oh,
then
my gosh.
this is more bizarre than the Tiger King.
Oh, what a disaster. Oh, no doubt about that.
This is representative of 2020, that's for sure.
I'm scanning the grandstands for Joe Exotic right now.
Let's walk through this again.
He's just frantic to get it turned around.
There's
and
Dixon,
not
there's
lose-
VK.
Not lose positions.
There's Harvey, bang.
He just mistimed it as Harvey was trying to whoa up. What a disaster for the Andretti team, Marty. 2 cars in the span of about 5 minutes.
Boy, what a crazy day. Townsend Alexander Rossi out of the race. The dominant car led 61 laps. What happened, Alexander?
Just lost it in turn 3, man. It's been tough all weekend. It's just a human error, so it's hugely unfortunate. I think the 27 Automation Andretti Honda guys were phenomenal. Andretti Autosport was phenomenal all weekend, and sucks, man. It's the first time it's happened to me to crash from the lead, so I don't really know what to say other than sorry to the boys, and we'll come back next year.
You had been talking about the marbles. Everybody had been talking about the marbles. How treacherous was it out there?
Yeah, it was hard, man. On the restarts and such. That wasn't what caught us out there. It just caught a bump the wrong way, I guess, and couldn't save it.
All right, Alexander Rossi out of it here today, but you know he had a terrific car and wanted to win this race. But boy, the complexion of this race has changed so much, guys. And guess who's now in second? Joseph Newgarden.
Yeah.
Wow.
Marco Andretti out of the car now. Look at all these cars stacked up
Listen.
in the runoff area.
He's begging, guys, I'm getting in. Fire me up. He's pleading.
He's lost a lap now or two, so the advantage now goes to Bourdais. Bourdais went off sequence, put himself behind Andretti. Marco's absolutely furious.
And Paul, you're talking about the advantage to secure 22nd in the championship points, which again is worth roughly $1 million for one of these teams. Marco Andretti, Connor Daly, and Bourdais all on that bubble.
Well, it's like having it secured or saying go and find that money for the season. There's Jack Harvey. He got hit by James Hinchcliffe right up there in the top turn. We're hearing reports there are some raindrops falling here in St. Petersburg on pit lane.
It's been sprinkling a little bit, guys. Not significant. I was going to bring it up earlier, but yes, it is starting to sprinkle here on pit road. Why don't we add something else to the mix? Why not?
We've had everything else, haven't we?
It's your fault, Paul. As soon as you mentioned Tiger King, it just went crazy.
Listen, these guys have hit everything but the helicopter. That's next.
So I was just getting ready to say a moment ago that James Hinchcliffe was in a position to maybe be able to win the race, and he's someone that doesn't have a job for next year. Now he goes from potentially winning the race to making a mistake, 2 of them actually on his own. Luckily for him, I asked him before, how much does today's performance matter as far as securing your ride next year? And he said, no, it doesn't. It's heading in the right direction. It's not signed yet, but I've been told just go out and have fun. I already did what I needed to do to secure that leader's circle money. And look at that big black cloud above us here, Paul.
It's raining good now.
Sunshine and a pretty steady big raindrops.
Oh, my goodness.
Luckily that the pavement right now is really hot. The temperature is hot. The sun's out. I don't know if this rain will stick, but it is going to make it greasy, that's for sure.
Tiffy, if you thought the restarts were hard before, throw this into the mix, and of course nobody will want to pit at this point for any reason and lose track position, and there's 1 lap to go when the pace car reaches the timing line. So Herta, oh boy, you got your hands full.
Well, he's got
doesn't show any rain on the radar. We don't think it's going to go long or hard.
Okay, voice of Brian
You can
Barnhart.
see the big cloud here on the front stretch. That's where it's all coming from. This is 1 to go.
This is the radar, the
Copy.
live radar at the moment. So it's just kind of a little pop-up shower.
What, Lee, I'll say these are big raindrops that are falling down on pit road, like a legit raindrops. So, and that's where the front stretch is. So this is going to get interesting.
How many more times can Scott Dixon roll his eyes?
I know.
Scott Dixon now 6th. Newgarden in podium position. He needs to win this race.
I'm seeing raindrops on our booth.
So Alex Palou is in 2nd, but pitted on lap 51, so that's significantly earlier than everybody else. He will need to come again, even with all of this yellow. There we go, the big cloud above the circuit.
This is like you've heard of the Joker lap in Rallycross. This is the Joker cloud to mix things up as we see debris on the front stretch that'll undoubtedly need to be cleared, I would think.
Yeah, it's right in the middle of the straightaway, so that is definitely, if you run over that, it could cut a tire down, cause more drama, but we're going green. They're leaving it out there, and that is right. Oh, that's that's right in the middle of the front straightaway.
The big painted lines on the runway are hard enough to negotiate in the dry until they get enough rubber on them, but add in a little bit of rain on that paint as well, and you're on slick tires. Still plenty of sun here. I'm just looking out the booth. That big black cloud is above our announce booth. Hopefully that's not representative.
Still see the raindrops there as they warm their tires. It's sunny in turn 1, but it has been raining on this side of the track. This is going to be fascinating.
It's going to be crazy. Alex Palou behind is the 2nd car. There he is there for Dale Coyne Racing with Team Go, the guaranteed rate Honda, but he's off sequence as far as his stop, so he's going to go for it. Colton Hurt will see the green. Palou lights it up. Somebody dives for pit lane. That's Arenas VK. Palou on the left-hand side of your screen. Joseph Newgarden in the mix. Championship hopeful. Here they come into the braking zone on those painted lines. Newgarden goes for Colton Herta. He's going for the lead around the outside, and Newgarden gets it done.
2 in 1 corner. Palou made a fantastic restart, but Joseph Newgarden squared them all up, and now he's doing exactly what he needs to do. Dixon is urgent now to work his way to the front. He's just moved up to 4th. Now he's going for 3rd.
3 cars contact just behind Scott Dixon. He manages to squeak by once again. Meanwhile, Newgarden came in having to win, and he's on his way to winning. This is going to be cool down the stretch for the championship.
Scott Dixon's going to make a move here on Colton Herta. You got a good drive off the corner, but Scott Dixon, all he needs to do now is finish inside the top 9. Wow.
Just stay there, stay put. It was Sebastian Bourdais in the AJ Foyt Racing number 14 collided with countryman Simon Pagenaud, but they ricocheted off each other and they were able to keep going. This is Oliver Askew, turn 10. There'll be another yellow.
Has to be. Car stalled. Dead quiet.
Can you get reverse?
Can't get reverse if the engine isn't running. There's the full course caution. I can't tell you how remarkable it is that Dixon from mid-pack has survived all of these restarts with no contact, no damage, and now finds himself in 3rd.
The escape artist. Been a wonderful afternoon for him, but how you've got to admire the aggression of Newgarden getting that done. An incredible performance from this man, just to go on maximum attack on championship day to try and keep his hopes alive of a 3rd NTT IndyCar Series title.
You see it, Diff. 16 points now, the difference between Dixon and Newgarden. Newgarden doing everything he needs to do to pull this off, especially with a sly little move like this.
And this is the Children's Miracle Network moment of the race. Why wouldn't it be? Palou and Herta. Newgarden steps back and assesses the situation, Paul, and says, excuse me, coming through, going to the lead. I'm trying to win a championship.
He absolutely timed that to perfection. He just let those guys kind of hold themselves up and squared the corner up and got the drive off the corner. Watch this. He just squares it up, straight lines it, and gets Palou. But Dixon also saw that move and says, I got to make some moves now, and jumped his way up into podium position.
It was Sato and Askew. So the Indy 500 champ has been involved in the last 2 crashes and involved in the last 2 cautions being brought out. There have been now 6 in this race, just 20 laps to go in this 2020 season. This Geico aerial shot is featuring the Honda pace car. The reason why, just get ready for it, folks. Everything has happened today that could. Oriol Servia driving the pace car, we believe, is low on fuel.
I think Joe Exotica's behind the wheel of that thing.
So Newgarden apparently is going to control the field. How about handing the advantage to the leader as the pace car comes in? Watch this on your right-hand side. IndyCar official is going to point him that way. Servia carries on. I'm not sure if he knew where the fuel was.
Well, that car doesn't run on ethanol. It's got to go get gasoline, so there's nothing in the pit lane for him.
You might as well just take one of the generators on pit lane, try to dump it in the tank. Maybe Marco Andretti's or somebody else that's out.
Going green next time.
Wow.
That's the voice of Tim Cindric, Team Penske president.
And this is a nice advantage for Newgarden to be able to clean his tires at a pace he likes. As now we're on board with Newgarden, down in 1, tiptoeing their way through, as Lee Diffie mentioned, and he just puts on a master stroke move to square things up, like Paul talked about. Hang on through that one section, and Dixon's watching all of this, saying, just stay clean, stay clean.
Yeah, but watch this. Once he makes that move, he kind of does the same move as Newgarden and says, oh, I got to get more aggressive now, and then squares this one up here.
He made a nice move on Pato O'Ward there.
Yeah.
Now he's making a move on Herta, backs out of it.
Thought about it there, and the collision happens behind him right here is where Bourdais and Pagenaud got together. To your point, T-Bell, he was so close to that.
Dixon knows he just needs to keep, if he can see Newgarden, he's good. Marty?
And in between Scott Dixon and Joseph Newgarden is Colton Herta. And on that restart, he said, how many overboosts are going to cost us today? So they changed the mapping coming to the green this time, hoping it doesn't cause their 4th overboost of the day. But that's why he lost the lead, and Newgarden now up front where he needs to be.
Look at Herta. Look at Herta all over the gearbox of that Hitachi Chevrolet. Newgarden runs a little wide there as he controls the field. He's struggling for traction as they come to the green. 16 laps to go as they cross the line here. And that Andretti Autosport driver is shadowing him. Here comes Pato O'Ward on the inside of Dixon.
Pato makes a really nice move down the inside. He's going to have a look at Herta down the straightaway, but he gets Dixon gets shuffled back by the McLaren SP driver.
You got to think if you're racing Scott Dixon right now for position, he's going to give you a wide berth as Pato O'Ward goes inside Colton Herta.
His old teammate. His old teammate, and he gets him for second. Now remember, O'Ward has never won an IndyCar race. He is desperate to do it for Arrow McLaren SP, and this is his biggest opportunity.
Oh, he's on the move now. If he can get a good drive off this corner, get on the push to pass, he's gets a little bit of wheel spin there. Pato O'Ward is on the charge, wants that first win. He's tired of seeing Colton Herta win races.
Well, for everybody involved in the organization, for Sam Schmidt and Rick Peterson and Zach Brown, they love this guy. They have re-signed him for the 2021 season, and why wouldn't you? The 21-year-old Mexican has shown just how talented he is. Now he is hassling the reigning champion.
This is it. This is it right here.
What a corner he had. What a final corner. What a great run. Here he comes.
Under brakes. Can he do it in one? No.
Deep on the brakes for Newgarden. He gets in there really deep, but he squares him up. He might have a shot coming off the corner here.
Meanwhile, Sebastian Bourdais is all over Scott Dixon further back.
Newgarden
Here comes O'Ward.
25 seconds to overtake.
Got to go for it if he wants that win. Newgarden also. Herta goes in the tires.
That puts Dixon on the podium, the provisional podium.
Second time that's happened this race for Colton Herta in that corner. Huge break for Dixon. Dixon has clean air now.
15 laps to go here in St. Pete for Pato Award right there in the orange and black Arrow McLaren Chevrolet. He led and rode America only to see the win go away when Felix Rosenquist got him late in the race.
And Award has almost double the amount of push-to-pass that Joseph Newgarden has, and he knows Joseph Newgarden knows his spot of where he has to win this race to have a shot to win the championship. I talked to Gilles Deferrin, the leader of this team for Pato Award, and he said he has done everything we've asked him to do this year. We need him to take that next step. We have led laps. We finished on the podium. That next step, converting that to wins, he can make it happen today, guys.
It's all or nothing for Newgarden. He knows he has to win. It's win or crash. It doesn't matter. The longer this goes, that Newgarden can stay in front. I think Newgarden will settle in, get those tires up to temp, and it'll be harder and harder, Townsend, for Pato to get by. I think it's advantage right now, Pato, cold tires.
Well, he's got Pato's to pass too, Townsend.
He's had such a good drive off the final corner onto the long front straightaway, but Newgarden with 11 seconds left, Award with 24, Dixon at 47, and Bourdais with 61. So as they sequence back, the cars in front at a disadvantage. They're exposed on push to pass. We'll see if Award can get another great exit here off the final corner.
This young man here has won at this track in Indy Lights. That was 2 years ago when he was the Indy Lights champion. Last year was kind of a weird year. He did the first 7 races, and then there was a budget issue with the team. But he'd done enough in those first 7 races to gain the attention of Dr. Helmut Marko within the Red Bull racing program. He said, listen, we're going to sign you up. There might be a potential opportunity for you to come to Formula One, maybe do some FP1, free practice ones on Fridays. He did one Formula 2 weekend. Then he went to Japan to do the Super Formula. Things didn't work out with Red Bull, and he got signed by Zach Brown, Sam Schmidt, Rick Peterson, the whole gang, to be one of 2 young drivers in Arrow McLaren SP. It's McLaren's first full-time involvement in IndyCar since 1979, and it has been a fabulous season for this team, thanks to this guy and some hard-working crew.
You can try gray 6 for exit of 14 wheel spin.
So gray 6, exit of turn 14, wheel spin. That probably is doing a little bit of torque smoothing to the ECU, the way the power comes on.
Push to pass. 6 and behind has
That's
47.
Award's engineer giving the information on how many seconds Newgarden has of push to pass left.
Chevy 1-2 with a Honda in third. Like I said, Newgarden now has got the tires up to temp. He's settled in, gotten into his rhythm. Townsend, when he gets up front, he's a difficult guy to beat.
That was the voice of Taylor Cale, team manager and strategist for Award, giving critical information. Kevin, what's going on?
Take a look at Sebastian Bourdais and where he's at right now. He doesn't seem that strange, starts 7th and run 4th right now, but he was most, and the team was most concerned about that leader's circle, the revenue sharing program of $1 million, and they were going to cover anything that the 20 or the 98 did, and once that felt good, then they would start the race. Well, that's settled because those cars have had issues, not on the lead lap or out, so he's going after it. He's won 2 times here. Mostly, this is by far the best performance for the A.J. Foyt team this year as they try to build for next year, Marty.
Second
and Pato Ward still sitting in third. They have made him aware that not only is the win right in front of him, but if he can pass Joseph Newgarden, guys, we've talked about this 3rd place in the championship standings. Guess who would finish 3rd if he wins this race? Pato Award. They've made him aware that, hey, there's more than just the win ahead of you. It's 3rd place in the season-long championship standings, so a lot to fight for Pato Award.
Well, think about it from a team perspective. Arrow McLaren SP, if they can get 3rd in the championship, boys, they're behind Penske and Ganassi. That is huge.
It's only a 3-point gap right now from Colton Herta to Pato Award, so the urgency now is on for him to try to get this first win and try to secure that top 3 in the championship.
Meanwhile, got Alex Palou running in 5th. That would be a huge way for that young rookie to finish the season. However, he last pitted on lap 51 with all of the cautions. I don't know if it'll be enough for Palou to make it to the finish. He'd have to be getting excellent mileage, not only under yellow, but right now.
And ahead of him is Sebastian Bourdais. What a tremendous run for A.J. Foyt racing on a street circuit. Bourdais has clearly had an impact done a nice job since returning. His first weekend back at the Harvest Grand Prix weekend, it kind of highlighted his time out of the car, and even James Hinchcliffe said that. When you're out of the car, I struggled as well. Sebastian did. Elio Castro Neves came back. It was a difficult transition back into the car, but now he's found his feet, and he's obviously very comfortable being a multi-time winner here on these streets where he and his young family call home.
He says he's got a lot of work to do for next year to get ready, but he's got his off-season plans pretty much in place. He's going to run the 24 hours of Daytona. He's going to finish off this season in IMSA and be ready for a 2021 attack with Foyt Racing, get him back up front.
So 10 laps to go for Joseph Newgarden. 9, make it 9, pardon me. 9 to go. He's done everything, T-Bell, everything that could be asked of him. He can't do any more than this.
It's been a perfect drive for Joseph Newgarden, staying out of trouble, making the right call on tire selection, and putting the pace together when it counts. The only thing that he hasn't had is lady luck or lady bad luck for Scott Dixon. Meanwhile, Dixon has done absolutely everything right also.
He certainly shadowed Newgarden all the way. Every time Newgarden made a move, Dixon made a move to follow. So Dixon as well doing everything right today that he needs to do to get his 6th championship as things are starting to wind down.
But we've seen wild, crazy moments in this race, guys, and with 9 laps to left, it just seems like anything could happen. You've seen leaders go off on their own in brake zones or in fast corners with the marbles. It's going to take a steady hand on the tiller here for both Newgarden and Dixon to nurse these IndyCars home.
And can we all take a step back, right, while we ride on board the PNC Bank Honda? Let's take a step back and look at the bigger picture and the big storyline that's at play right here involving this 40-year-old Kiwi. This guy wasn't even born when the gentleman on the left, AJ Foyt, won his 6th championship. That was 45 years ago. AJ is the only one in the history of IndyCar to win 6, and then he went on to win a 7th. So for Dixon to be in that rarefied air, that's what's at stake here over these closing 8 laps. An incredible accomplishment if Dixon does it, if he stays where he does now for another 8 laps.
The way he's been driving at age 40 suggests he could do this for another 20 years at this level. He is every bit as fast, every bit as competitive, plus all of the knowledge of 20 years of IndyCar racing.
7 more good laps here.
For those of you turning on, just check out MotoGP. It will be coming up at the conclusion of this race. We're going to finish off this 2020 NTT IndyCar season. And look at that. There's some interesting numbers, fellas, on the road to their respective 6 championships if Dixon stays where he is for another 7 laps.
Amazing statistics for both of those drivers, 2 of the best in the business. But another guy who's having a great day today, too, was another Florida boy. Ryan Hunter-Reyes moved up from the back of the grid up into the top 6. So we haven't seen much of him all day. There he is right there in the DHL car, their track sponsor here. So a great run for this guy who's from Florida.
Let me remind you that Hunter-Ray in P6, that would be the highest finishing Andretti car, which is crazy to think about when you consider Colton Herta, Alexander Rossi, James Hinchcliffe, Jack Harvey, all those cars that have been running up front all day, and it's been the steady hand of Hunter-Ray bringing it home as Palou goes to the pits and puts Hunter-Ray into the top 5.
Can't make it. And Kimball now with AJ Foyt jumps up to 8th. So both of Foyt's cars this weekend in the top 10.
That's a huge effort. Alex Palou did his best. He tried to save as much fuel as he could, but he last pitted on lap 51. He was trying to go basically half the race on one load of fuel. So he did run well. He enjoyed some time up front. So he gets topped up enough to finish it off these final 6 laps of the 2020 season. Let's hope we see this 23-year-old Spaniard back next year. He's a really good talent to have in the NTT IndyCar Series. Ward's now 4 seconds behind Joseph Newgarden. He can't do anything about the Hitachi Chevrolet driver. Dixon's got Ward in his sights pretty nicely here, but there's no reason to challenge there. Dixon's doing everything he needs to do over these
489,
closing
39 behind you.
5 laps.
5 laps.
You can't let your guard down, Townsend. You've got to concentrate. This track has really bitten a lot of drivers today, top-level drivers, especially in this section. So you got to thread the needle and be careful so you can't afford to make a mistake.
No doubt. And the pressure has to be on with Dixon knowing and seeing Newgarden lead this race. That was exactly the scenario that was sort of framed up as a must-do for Newgarden. Newgarden, you've got to win, and Dixon, if he wins, you've got to keep it in the top 10.
Hey guys, meanwhile up front, Joseph Newgarden. I can't imagine the emotion he must feel right now, Townsend. I mean, they came in knowing we have to win the race. Honestly, in practice yesterday, probably did not have the car to win this race. Qualified 8th. They were able to leapfrog their way up through the field to get the lead, and now it looks like they're going to get back-to-back wins here at St. Pete. And you want to celebrate that, right? But you also know you're not going to win the championship. But the way that Joseph Newgarden, this entire Team Penske group, has closed the season, you got to feel good about it, especially knowing the first race of 2021 right back here at St. Pete. It's not going to be a title today. It's going to be and win. It's going to feel like a little bit of a hollow win, I would assume, for Team Penske.
And there's going to be this amazing pattern that has formed over the past few years here continue, and that is back-to-back winners. Juan Pablo Montoya did it in 2015, 2016. Bourdais did it in 2017, 2018. Newgarden is the defending race winner. So if he wins again, that double win sequence continues.
Tell you what, he's pushing hard. His last lap was a 101.3. O'Ward at a 102.0. So he's pushing it to the limit right now, even though he's got a big lead. Not leaving anything on the table, Townsend.
Not at all, and I think this just emphasizes how strong Team Penske is over a full stint on the harder black tires. I'm sure it's tough for Will Power to watch because he had that car, he had that lead early on, and was just a victim to you know, the tough track conditions today. Got off in an uncharacteristic mistake, but for Newgarden, this has got to feel great, except for the fact that it right now just won't be enough to close the championship.
Joseph is going to be a massive ambassador for the street race in downtown Nashville, Tennessee. You'll see that next year in the 2021 championship on August the 8th on the streets of Nashville. There's a lot of excitement. Our statistician Russ Thompson lives in Nashville, Tennessee, so there's a lovely buzz around town about it. And so Joseph, you will see him involved more and more in the promotion of that first time event. You know what else I can't help but thinking about? Scott Dixon for Chip Ganassi. Chip Ganassi Racing's 30th anniversary season this season. You think about the caliber of the drivers who have represented Chip Ganassi. We think about Alex Zanardi in his comeback and his recovery after that horrendous accident. We wish you well, Alex. You think about Jimmy Vasser, Michael Andretti, Joe for Chip. Dario Franchitti won championships, but this man here is the longest tenured driver for Chip and the most successful.
And when you think about the fact that when we come back in March, Chip Ganassi Racing and Scott Dixon will have a new member of the team, NASCAR superstar Jimmy Johnson, lining up to try his luck at IndyCar racing. I think he's still here today, and I'm sure he's watching and mighty impressed with the drive that Dixon's put on to not only navigate the chaos, but potentially looks like here end up on the podium to close out a 6th championship.
Big question marks on who is going to be the second teammate to Scott Dixon. We are sure it's going to be a superstar driver because that's what Chip likes, but we're winding this thing down. Don't forget NASCAR Texas is coming on.
Yeah.
Another big race tonight, but last lap for Newgarden was his fastest lap of the race.
1 to go. The white flag is displayed. Less than 2 miles to go for Joseph Newgarden for his 4th victory on the season. For Pato O'Ward, it will be his 4th podium if he stays where he is. But for this man here in the PNC Bank Honda, Scott Dixon for Chip Ganassi Racing, he is less than 2 miles from a 6th IndyCar championship. Incredible. He was in the right place at the right time. He avoided several large collisions. There's been a lot of crashes today. The attrition rate has been incredibly high, but this guy here has been spot on. Didn't qualify well yesterday. Again, started today's race in 12th. But for this young man who left his home in New Zealand, came to the United States in 1999, The past 21 years have been fantastic. He is synonymous with victory. Joseph Newgarden is also synonymous with victory.
He did everything we could ask this year.
Newgarden did everything he had to, but Scott Dixon is a 6-time IndyCar champion. How about that? He does it on a track where he's never been victorious. That doesn't matter. He's the champ.
I never doubted it, never doubted it. Not with you guys. What a team. Thank you all so much, boys, girls, everybody. Well done, well done. This is all you guys. Thank you.
And that sums up who Scott Dixon is. A gracious champion, grateful for the team behind him, and he is in a very special place in the history of this sport. What a day, what a day, what a race. There were elements to it that were simply crazy, and then this is pure quality. Just a reminder for those of you turning on to watch MotoGP, that is coming up as soon as we are done here shortly. And then Football Night in America leading into Sunday Night Football, Seahawks and Cardinals. That's at 8:20. Let's go down and celebrate with the new 6-time champ. Marty?
Scott Dixon in his 20th season, 40 years old this year, showing no signs of slowing down. A 6th IndyCar title for Scott Dixon and Chip Ganassi Racing. And he did it in very non-Scott Dixon-like fashion, coming on early in the season, normally known to kind of turn it on at the end of the season. And I agree with what Dario Franchitti said. What makes Scott great is his drive. He's exceptional when it comes to that. And I think everybody wants to know, Scott, where is your fountain of youth? Because at 40 years old, I think you might agree as Joseph Newgarden comes in for the handshake. Classy move there, Newgarden winning the race. Where's that fountain of youth, Scott? Because at 40, I think you might agree this might have been one of your best seasons ever. 6 times now you're an IndyCar champion. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. It definitely started that way, but it's all the team. You know, I can't thank everybody on this team enough. Obviously, Chip at the helm, Mike and Barry, and everybody involved. Obviously, Honda. So proud to be powered by Honda. And what they've been able to pull out this year, even the deficit that we had going into Indy previous years, you know, they nailed it. So big thanks to everybody, my family. I'm glad my girls are here. Emma's somewhere. Unfortunately, Kit's not here, but you know, it's a big shame that he won't be here. But can't thank everybody enough. PNC Bank, 2 out of 3 years. That's pretty good going.
Yeah, you told me in the offseason, as everyone cheers back there, you guys had some very tough conversations, Scott. How did those tough conversations lead you to this moment and make this team better?
You know, it's never just one thing or one person, and you know, for me, it's really about the team effort. You know, we had a lot of changes in the offseason. Yeah.
Here comes the boss, Chip Ganassi.
Yeah, I don't think Emma's been sleeping much, so it's, you know, it's, I seem to sleep fine. I don't know what everybody was worried about. No, it's, it definitely got pretty close there. You know, credit to Joseph and Team Penske. You know, they drove the last part of the season flawlessly and so many points, so it was pretty awesome to race them again. And we know next year is going to be the same. But huge thanks to everybody again on the team. Now we can have a beer.
Let's let the girls and Emma in here. Emma, come on in. She's your driving force back at home. How sweet. Now do you allow yourself, I know you didn't want to talk about it till after this was over, do you now allow yourself to think about a 7th title and catching AJ Foyt?
Well, 6 is good. 7 sounds better. That's obviously going to be the goal. But, you know, it's tough. As you can see from the competition, you know, even if you miss it a little bit in qualifying, we had some problems this weekend and just couldn't piece it together. But credit again to the team and being able to pull ourselves out of that hole and just stay consistent and just have a smooth race. And that's all we did. Definitely had the speed when we needed to push. But, you know, credit to Joseph. He drove a hell of a race there and put us under a lot of pressure. The
Astor Cup awaits you. We're going to go talk to Joseph Newgarden. Congratulations, though, to Scott Dixon, a 6-time IndyCar champion. Kevin?
And he takes the title away from 2-time champion Joseph Newgarden. You did everything you could do. You won 4 times this year. Great season. But I'm wondering, what are the emotions like in a situation like this?
It's definitely bittersweet. You know, first off, congrats to Scott and all his guys and his crew. You know, it's big time to win 6 championships. So, I'm sure they're thrilled. They were a great competitor, and you know, like I said, it's bittersweet. I think on one hand, I don't really know what I'd do different this year. You know, I don't know what I'd ask my guys to do different. They were flawless, fastest in the pits all year long. They were rewarded earlier this weekend by Firestone. So I'm extremely proud to drive for my team, and not just our car, but all the teams combined, all the engineers, all the mechanics. We have an incredible crew that puts in a lot of work, and you know, we just came up short. That's all it is. We weren't good enough. We'll reset. We'll hit them harder next year, and I promise you we'll be in the fight. This crew can be in the fight every year, and so I have confidence we'll come back. So thank you to Hitachi, Team Chevy. You know, Team Chevy was the engine to beat today, and I think all year long. So big credit to them. Just a little short on points, but we'll come back hitting harder next year.
Going from 8th to the win on straightforward strategy is pretty impressive, and I'm wondering what you thought of what was going on around you and in front of you at times, all the chaos.
Well, I mean, no doubt we didn't need a full green race, so that played into our favor today. You know, we definitely had the flow of the race that we needed, but you know, it wasn't anything odd that gave us a, hey, look at this guy.
Pato Award
Had a
coming
good
in.
fight with him. It's one of the futures of IndyCar. I mean, he's already, you know, a star in IndyCar, so I don't want to say the future. I'm a huge Pato fan, so it was fun to race him. He's driven me so clean, and even when it was very difficult at the end of that race, all the pickup on the tires was really tough to clean off. He was just a great competitor, so I really have enjoyed driving against him. But yeah, we had a solid day. We needed to be fairly quick. I think we had a fairly quick car, and we just had to make some moves. That's all we could do to try and get to the front. So we outlasted everybody and, you know, did what we needed to do. We knew coming into this that fate wasn't in our own hands. We knew that we weren't going to be able to decide things, so we just did what we could and hoped for the best.
Congratulations on a great year. We'll see you back here in March of 2021. Marty, back over to you.
Well, Kevin, Scott Dixon getting some high fives from the team, but he, in a moment, will have the official presentation, but we'll let him get up here with the Astor Cup with Mark Miles, the president and CEO of Penske Entertainment, and also David Croxville, the executive vice president and chief financial officer of NTT Data Services. And Scott will get to take home his 6th Astor Cup today. And guys, Mark, I'll let you hand the trophy over to Mr. Dixon, and Scott going to be able to celebrate with another Astor Cup here in 2020. And what a season it was for Scott Dixon and Chip Ganassi Racing. That's a nice little prize to get to take home, isn't it, Lee?
Fantastic. Fantastic. He knows that feeling. But to do it 6 times is just incredible. And to have the top 2 in the championship, they've been locked together for so long in this championship about laps completed, and their stats have been so similar. But in the end, they finish 16 points apart in favor of Dixon. Colton Herter, by the way, did do enough to hang on to 3rd in the championship over his old teammate. And there is the remainder of the points on what was just a crazy day here in St. Petersburg to put a period on this 2020 NTT IndyCar Series Championship. Unbelievable. I want to remind you, and I know that some of you have turned on, MotoGP is coming up next. That's from Aragon in Spain. And later tonight, it's Sunday Night Football. That's at 8:20 p.m. Eastern, where the Seattle Seahawks will take on the Arizona Cardinals. Coverage begins with Football Night in America at 7 p.m. with Mike Tirico and the boys. Make sure you catch that. It's an exciting night ahead. NASCAR is happening right now in Texas. IndyCar is done for the season. You know, this was an improbable season, and at times it seemed impossible. But it happened with thanks to Roger Penske and everybody involved at IndyCar. And this guy proudly stands on top for a 6th time. Scott Dixon, one of the best ever in IndyCar. Congratulations.